Nothing too juicy in the world of West Ham today, however. I do feel confident things will be happening. We will be talking to other clubs, players and agents and trying to get the next signing in. We just don't know who it is. We just don't know who West Ham's next priority transfer target is. And I quite like it. Adds a bit of mystery, a bit of excitement. Might even help West Ham trying to negotiate a deal that other clubs are unaware of. But maybe, just maybe, we've actually made a signing that will be crucial to who we go after next. Perhaps I'm putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 8. But just maybe I'm putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with our new number 1 next season. Welcome to Hammers Chat. If you're new to the YouTube channel, please do subscribe. Takes 2 seconds. It's completely free. Helps out the channel. And please also drop a like on the video as well by clicking thumbs up. If we get 1,500 likes, that would be incredible. But massive thank you for all the support recently. And I would just like to remind you, we have a closing down sale on at hammerschatstore.com. Yes, I know you're probably aware of it, but I need to sell the Christmas jumpers. Which one of yous are going to be buying a Christmas jumper? Some of yous need to be buying a Christmas jumper. I've reduced them again. We're selling them much less than it costs us. We're making a big loss in some of these items that we're selling. And Lucas Paqueta t-shirts are £5. Go have a look. There might be something for you. There might be something for someone that you're going to be buying a present for their birthday or for Christmas. hammerschatstore.com. There's a closing down sale. All that needs to go. And there's another sale, which is, we don't have to sell them, but we've knocked a few quid off. Maybe just something that you like. Go have a look. It'll take you 2 minutes. Have a look while you're listening to this. Listen to this and have a look on the store. Right. Links in the description below. So who have we signed? Well, it's a goalkeeping coach. Yes, I know. Whoopee Kasper Ankergen. He's rocked up at West Ham. It's official. It's been announced. We were linked to him back in June. It was broken by a Danish source. A Danish journalist put it up. I remember it very well because I did a video about it at the time. Now, this is important. And it's easy to mock. Oh, we've got a goalkeeper. I get it. I get the jokes. And it's important to be able to have a laugh, but also think it's important. It's fair. That's me. I'll take the piss out of it. But I also think it's crucial, right? Not just that Potter's getting his backroom staff together and that we've got 2 goalkeeping coaches now for next season. But Graham Potter, historically, at Chelsea, at Brighton, at Swansea, don't know about the Swedish club, but whenever he's brought a goalkeeper into that club, the goalkeeping coach has had a big, big influence in who we go after. Javi Valero had it at West Ham as well previously, because why not? Why would you not go to your goalkeeping coach and get their advice on which goalkeeper to target for your club, for your team? So now that Kasper Ankergen's joined, I'm expecting us to make a move for a goalkeeper very, very soon. We've been told that we were after one. It feels like the goalkeeping position is crept up in priority over the last couple of weeks as well. Because coming out of the season, you know, a handful of games to go, we didn't even know if Fabianski was going or staying. His contract was running out, but we didn't hear. Then we got the official confirmation he's going. We said goodbye. But there wasn't really loads of talk about goalkeeper being a priority. It was almost like we'll get someone in, but it's not going to be anyone significant. We're not spending this on it. But I feel like in the last couple of weeks, it started to move up the list of positions in terms of priority. It was a case of, oh, Potter wants a midfielder, a striker, a centre-back, blah, 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 a right-back, left-back, oh, and a goalkeeper. Now it feels like we want a midfielder and a goalkeeper. This is good. This is good. You that have been tuned in for a couple of months, thank you. The rest of you, where you been? If you've not been here in the last couple of months, where you been? Hey, where you been? Better subscribed. I'm big for a new number 1. I'm not a big fan of Areola. I think he's done all right with us. He's not a bad goalkeeper. I just don't think he's a top goalkeeper. And I would like us to sign a top goalkeeper this summer. I think there's a few available. I think some are now unavailable because they've already moved. But here's the but, and this is why I'm putting 2 together. Maybe I'm just getting my hopes up because I really want him, and that's Hermansen of Leicester City, who worked with I really call him Kasper, who worked with Kasper Ankergen at Brøndby. So he knows him well. Hopefully, I'm hoping that he says to Potter, that's your guy you want to go get, and hopefully we do go get him. Because you'd imagine he's available. Leicester are... What's worse than skint? What's the next level down for having no money? What's worse than skint? I don't know. Bankrupt, I guess. They're not quite that bad. They're very poor, in dire need of money. There's a club there to to be taken advantage of. And I would like us to go and try and get Hermansen. 20, 25 million in that ballpark. I think you're getting a top goalkeeper, a young goalkeeper who's only going to get better, who will have a goalkeeping coach that he knows well. So that relationship, I say, is already established. It's there, it exists already. I think he would suit playing out from the back. I think he did well in the Premier League last season. Better pre-injury. Once he got injured, he was a little bit rusty when he came back, but almost kept Steve Cooper in a job, which is impressive, and made people think Steve Cooper did a good job at Leicester when he was there, which is also impressive. Get Hermansen to the ball. That's what I'm saying. Our new number one. I like him. Wasn't my number one. Michael Cooper was my number one. But Hermansen was my number one. If we could get Hermansen in, I'd be happy. Maybe Ankergin is a guy to unlock this one. Anyway, Leicester City, sticking with them. We're going to move over to El Kanous. We've been linked to him a few times this week, but the update over the last 24 hours is that he has a £22.5 million release clause due to the relegation. Now, he is being strongly linked to Nottingham Forest at present due to Spurs approaching, trying to sign Morgan Gibbs-White. Now, for those of you who don't know what the issue is here, Gibbs-White, is Forest are alleging that he had a release clause that no one should know about. They've signed NDAs, should be confidential. Spurs, and it's not the fact that Spurs knew it's a 60 million release clause. There's a really good example of to how you can meet a release clause, but it's not triggered, and that is Amadi Hutchinson with Ipswich. So he has a £35 million release clause. Brentford bid 35 million. Ipswich rejected it because the structure payment didn't align with the release clause. So when you give a player a release clause, so we gave Kudus an 85 million one, no one's paying 85 million. The release clause is not 85 million up front. Now, Spanish, different. That's a buyout clause. It's completely different things. We're talking about a minimum fee release clause or a relegation release clause here. And when you agree that release clause with the player, you will agree how it gets paid as well. And this is what Nottingham Forest's issue was. Spurs allegedly bid the exact structure. So it wasn't just 60 million. It was how Tottenham were going to pay Nottingham Forest is what got it triggered. And that's why Nottingham Forest thought, well, that's a bit weird, you know, that information. How do you know he's got one? How do you know exactly how to trigger it? Anyway, El Kanous has a 22.5 million release clause. How you have to pay it, we do not know. But that's a good deal for me. I'd be all over that. I still prefer Mateus Fernandes over El Kanous, but El Kanous would be there. I'd be very, very happy with that signing. Jack Grealish, been linked to him. Who hasn't really? He's definitely leaving Man City. He definitely has to leave Manchester City. You'd imagine he's going to stay within the Premier League. No one can really afford him because of his wages. So you'd imagine someone's either getting him on the cheap because of his wages, or it's going to have to be a loan deal. I seen a tweet the other day which I thought was perfect. So there was a video of Grealish after Oasis at Heaton Park last weekend. A couple of Man City fans had obviously spotted him, went over to him, gave him a cuddle. I assume they got a picture or whatever. And Grealish had a few, so he was a little bit pissed in the video. So he just said, oh, I love Man City, I love Man City. So the bloke's like, oh, nice one, Jack, right? And the fan starts to back away from Grealish, say, you know, I've got my picture and whatever. But Grealish almost doesn't quite call him back. He just continues the conversation. He said, oh, do you know what I love about Man City the most? Ah, go on then. The fans, I love the Man City fans. And I seen another Man City fan reacting to the video, and he said, in this video is exactly why we love Jack Grealish. But also in this video is exactly why we need to get rid of Jack Grealish. Summed it up perfectly. I thought, wow, there you go. That is just summed up. And a lot of City fans, as I mentioned before, they put it down to when Grealish's house got robbed. They feel like that was the point where Grealish changed a little bit, and they didn't quite have the same Jack Grealish anymore. I think he just needs a fresh start. Away from Man City, away from Manchester, get to a club. I think he's one of these players that needs to feel the love. A bit like Jesse Lingard. I think Jesse Lingard is one of these players that just needs to feel like the most important player. I think Marko Arnautovic had a bit about that as well. It just needed the ego to be fed a little bit. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. But I think Grealish needs to go somewhere. The fan base are going to love him, and he's going to be able to play with freedom and try and get that Villa version of Grealish back. Would I have him at West Ham? On loan, 100%. But if it came down to paying money for him, and it was 50 million or something and his wages were going to break the wage structure, then no, I wouldn't. I would not do it. So there's an opportunity there. Apparently Potter really likes him, and Grealish would perhaps be willing to come to West Ham, and I understand why. I think some players, English players, will have aspirations of going to the World Cup. I'm not so sure Grealish probably will. I'm not sure how realistic it is for him to go to the World Cup. I think there's other players on the fringes of the squad, like James Maddison, for example, who has a more realistic chance of going. Bowen, I think, has a more realistic chance of going at this point. I hope it works out for him. He's a talented footballer on his day, and I find him quite likeable. I quite like him. I want to see him succeed. If you come to West Ham, I love him as a player, but financially, it could become very silly quickly. But on loan, 100%. I'm still insistent that the loan market within the Premier League is one that we have to take advantage of this season. I think there's some really good players available on loan and will become available on loan between now and the end of the transfer window. Been linked again to Jacob Ramsey. This is actually one rumour that won't go away. Now, he's also linked to Nottingham Forest. Apparently, he's Nottingham Forest's #1 target. So is El Canous. So is James McAtee. They've got a lot of #1 targets, Nottingham Forest, but it's all been triggered by the rumours that Gibbs White's going to leave, of course. For Ramsey, I would be a big fan of this transfer to West Ham. Now, he won't be cheap. A lot of that, 40 million, and I'm just sticking a price tag out there. He would not be cheap. But I think there's a real talented player there, and I think there's one that could get even better. I think at Villa, he just doesn't quite fit how Villa play and how Emery plays. Also, he's constantly used left of an attacking three. I'm not keen on him out there. I think he'd be good dropping a little bit deeper and becoming a number 8 and becoming an attacking midfielder or moving a bit more central, which Villa don't really have someone that does that role. And when they did, it's Morgan Rogers. And when it's not Morgan Rogers, it's Asensio, or it was Asensio. They moved Rogers to accommodate Asensio. So I'm not sure staying where he is the best thing for him. I think he's someone that needs to go somewhere and become a regular. Now, he gets a lot of football at Villa. It's not like he doesn't play. He does, but he's in and out of the team. I think he just needs to go somewhere where he's a bit more consistent and becomes perhaps the main man or one of the main men. Would he get that at West Ham? It depends what we were using him for. Are we going to bring him in to compete with Somerville? Or are we going to bring him in to become a central midfielder? What's the plan for him? But he's certainly someone that can cover 3, 4, 5 different roles within a team. Now, obviously, if you're only going to be playing the wing-back system, then no. But we are going to flirt between a back 3 and a back 4. Then there will be more than 2, 3 roles for him at West Ham. Wouldn't be against it. I would just be surprised. But we are getting linked to quite a few big money purchases. And one of the subscribers yesterday made a good point, because my video yesterday was about how we've been told we'll have to sell before we buy, and I'm worried we might end up in that scenario again pretty quickly unless we keep moving players out. And his response was, I'm not sure we'd spend so much money on Doof on a left wing back if we didn't have lots of money to spend, or we didn't have not lots of money, a bit more money to spend than what we were bringing in player sales. I found myself agreeing, actually. That was a really good point, a very valid point. And I didn't read it and think, well, that's wrong. I read it and thought, you know what? He's got a point. He's maybe being fair here. So maybe change my mind a little bit. Maybe, just maybe, we will have a few coins to spend. Fingers crossed. Kyle Walker-Peters, a bit of an update on him. The move to Besiktas is it's on ice at the minute. So the question is, why? Has someone gone in for him at last minute? And if so, are we possibly the club that's gone in for him at last minute? Now, Potter allegedly doesn't really like him, but Sullivan does. So if we were to go in for him, I think this would be either incorrect information being given to us about how Potter doesn't like him, or it's correct and Sullivan's then meddling in the transfers. It would be one of the two if we were that club. Whether it's us or not, don't know. Don't believe it. When I thought, I just thought, I don't really believe it's us that's made him change his mind. But you never know. One to keep your eye on. Anyway, there you go. That's your latest West Ham transfer rumours. My prediction is a goalkeeper starts moving quickly in the next few days because of Anchor again. And I appreciate the joke. I get it. It's a goalkeeping coach. I get it, right? I do understand. But I also think it's significant. I think it's important for Potter to recruit, or Potter to hone in on one goalkeeping target. We've been linked to quite a few this summer. and then for West Ham to go pursue that goalkeeper, but need the goalkeeping coaches sorted. Now we've got 2 now. Hopefully they're in agreement as to which one. Maybe the first, I can't remember the first guy. Maybe he wanted Suzuki. Ankergen's going to rock up and say, Hermansen, go get him. We can't get Suzuki out of Parma. Fine, we'll go get Hermansen, which I'll be happy with. So I'm hoping that this time next week, maybe Hermansen will be a hammer. That would be big progress for me. I'll be very, very happy. Anyway, hopefully you've all dropped a like on the video by now. If not, please do it. Subscribe and also go to hammerschatstore.com because I've reduced some things more. You might have looked last week. Well, look again. Things have got cheaper, especially the Christmas jumpers. Please buy the Christmas jumper. I need them gone. I'll catch up with you tomorrow.